Well, hi there. You're watching and or listening to Podcast is Broken, a weekly podcast in which we try to make Canadian news and politics funner. My name's Brittlestar.
My name's Steve Boots, and I think we make it more jovial.
My name is Lisa, and I think we make it frothy.
Oh, God. And then who else? Go on, last person. Guest.
And I'm Marsha, and I think we'll make it cattier this week. Sorry, I'm going to move my cat.
That's Lucy. For those of you who are paid subscribers, first of all, thank you for being paid subscribers and enjoying the video portion of this video, of this podcast. And that was Lucy's ass.
This podcast is now PG-13.
Exactly. Actually, it's already rated explicit. Just that
really?
Sorry about that.
Well, it's literally for Lisa. Literally, so that Lisa can.
I thought it was because of the adult situations.
Well, yes, but I've told people that you and I are married, so that's fine. It should be okay.
All my fault.
Anyway, so we're happy to have you here, Marsha. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I will try to keep my cat out of the shot for the paid subscribers, and I will try not to swear.
Okay, and if the cat does come in shot, Lucy's ass comes back into shot, we will descriptive video it for those of you who are listening to the audio podcast. Just
sounds.
Yeah.
I was like, cat coming into shot is
Lucy
more
has
of an OnlyFans type situation.
Oh, yeah.
So
exactly.
If that could be a new revenue stream.
Why people need to subscribe, you get to see it.
There you go.
Exactly.
Cat on the screen.
So there's been a lot of stuff happening, but I first wanted to talk about, Steve, before you went to tape, you were saying about how there was some fantastic comments in the House of Commons today during question period.
Yeah, so I was watching QP today, and QP has been a mess all session so far, like particularly bad. It's always bad. It's always been bad. But like, so for it to be particularly bad is really saying something. And well, there was a bunch of back and forth today. They were talking about the apartment for the ambassador in
the consul general, right?
Or consul general, yeah, in New York. And as Trudeau was giving his answer, somebody on the conservative side, unclear who, there are strong suggestions of who, but it hasn't been verified yet as far as I know, so I'll keep it to myself.
No. Put your guesses in the comments.
Can't we just guess? Yeah.
Speculate wildly in the replies, obviously. Yeah. But the statement, they were talking about a copper bathtub, and somebody yelled Trudeau and Tom Clark, I think it is.
That's right, yep.
Should get in the tub together or something to that effect. And so the speaker didn't hear who said it. So nothing really came of it on that end. Trudeau called out it for being casually homophobic, which, yeah, accurate. And then Fergus asked Trudeau to withdraw and apologize.
Yes.
And Trudeau stood up, and he was fairly defiant, and he said something like, "We don't take crap from the Conservatives."
From bullies,
and of course, crap is unparliamentary.
The way to deal with a bully is not to put up with their crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And the word crap is unparliamentary. So he then rose and withdrew the word crap before he called it defecation, and then he pivoted to crap.
Yeah.
It was very graceful. And refused to withdraw the thing about casual homophobia, and the House just sort of scuttled past it, and Fergus was like, "I'll look into it," and that was kind of that. It was bizarre.
It was funny watching, well, it wasn't funny. It was funny because it wasn't me, watching Greg Fergus's face the whole time going like, come on, man. Like, can you imagine?
High school teacher who's had enough, man.
Yes. Yeah, it's like it'd be like, I can imagine, because, you know, Steve, you, of course, have been a teacher and are a teacher at heart. I've taught high school before briefly, and you'd be like, you're in a class full of like essentially grown-ups, not grown-ups, but at least like not little kids. You think you can behave. And it's like just the same crap every day in question period. I can't stand watching it at all.
I'm going to ask the Brittlestar retract the word crap.
Yes, sorry.
Am I allowed to participate in this?
Oh my God, please.
Please.
Carry this episode if you can.
No.
You're the cool one.
But I just want to say, I was picturing Fergus thinking, oh my God, we have all these extra Canadians tuning in right now because of this non-confidence vote.
Yeah.
And this is what they're seeing.
Yeah.
These people behaving like children, worse than children. It was mortifying. That's what I was thinking he was thinking.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right. It's going to be one of the most watched question periods of the year. And it was gross.
Yeah. Yeah. Tens of people disappointed that their taxpayers' dollars are
But
gone to
maybe
waste.
20s of people, because can
Mhm.
Americans find that?
I don't know if they can or not.
So in the run up to that, in the members' statements, I can't remember who it was, shared that they had bussed in 56 seniors to watch question period.
Like, I thought we were going.
And it was just like, and as they said it, I'm like, oh no, don't do that.
Oh, that's so sad.
They all thought they were going to bingo, and then they showed up there. Damn it.
This doesn't look like Casino-rama.
Oh man.
Well, this all happens after a big week for Canada on the international stage. Not just at the UN General Assembly, but also on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where millions upon millions of not Canadians were watching Prime Minister Justin Trudeau talk softwood lumber tariffs, universal health care, and Pierre Poilievre. And of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we're joined today by Marsha Lederman, columnist for the Globe and Mail, whose recent article, Trudeau and Colbert, might have given U.S. voters something to think about. Look at it. I've got it right here. There's for people at home. You can
That's what it looks like in print.
Oh my God, you bought a paper in hard copy?
I get one every morning. I had a big fight with Marsha over this before. I didn't have a big fight over
We
this.
did have a fight.
It wasn't really a fight.
It was a little social media spat.
It was a spat because there was
no bathtubs involved.
I feel it was a miscommunication. That was what was happening. I was complaining about the delivery, people not being treated well, not paying for the paper. I'm happy to pay for it. Because look what you get. Look at that. There's even a picture of Marsha right there. Look at that. You don't have pictures on the internet, do you?
No, not a one.
Internet is picture free.
I mean, if you Google Steve Boots, you mostly just get Steve Madden boots.
Yeah, well, they make a fine boot.
Yeah, those are nice boots.
They are nice boots.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Not yet. But anyway, it was a really interesting thing. 'Cause I remember hearing that Trudeau was going to be on Colbert, and I thought, okay, interesting choice. And then I watched it, and I thought, oh, this might have been a stroke of genius. This might have been really clever to me. And I'll just state this straight away, is that I feel like it's like Canadians eat our own. We devour our young. We don't like people who are successful, strong, blah, 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 whatever, who are in Canada being those things. As soon as they go somewhere else and are recognized by Americans specifically, but other countries as being successful and strong, whatever, we go, yeah, they're Canadian. It's so cool, right? Yeah, this is awesome, isn't it? I think it's happened, apart from very few. In music, it happens all the time, of course. In comedy, it happens all the time. And apart from a few cases, it seems to be the rule that we just respect those people who are respected elsewhere first before they respect them here in the country. How sensitive are we to, Canadians as far as their portrayal on a world stage? Like, how sensitive are Canadians to that kind of stuff?
Oh, I think we're very sensitive. We don't want to appear that we're excited about the fact that our prime minister is appearing on this big late night talk show or what have you, whatever the example is. But we do get excited about that. I mean, some people get excited in not a positive way when it comes to Justin Trudeau being on Colbert. One comment I saw, this was actually kind of funny. Oh, Justin Trudeau and Stephen Colbert have something in common. They were both cool 10 years ago.
Which is pretty funny.
It is funny.
It's funny.
I laughed out loud when I read that. But, if he was going to be appearing on, I don't know, no offense, but this podcast or...
What the hell, Marsha? Why would you come for us like that right away?
Justin.
Just right, it opens with a body shot right there.
I know. Hey, listen, I'll have you know we turned down Jug Meat. I'll have you know that.
Let's say he was appearing on The Social or...
Sure, that's better.
I'm trying to think of a Canadian...
Yeah, no, that's good.
What's the Mary
Power
Berg
and
one?
Politics.
Yeah, they're the Mary Berg Show or, exactly. Or Peter Mansbridge podcast.
Yeah, I don't think it would be like a news alert.
No.
People would not be tweeting about it. positively or negatively. It got a lot of traction before, during, and after. And, it's to be really shallow about it. It's kind of cool to have the prime minister on Stephen Colbert's late night talk show being broadcast to the US and Canada and elsewhere. Some people might think.
Well,
Some
I
people
think
may think.
it's also worth noting, like, Colbert's got a ton of Canadian viewers. He's reaching a massive Canadian audience, bigger than he'd reach in most other venues that way.
Yeah, although I have to say, we have to be careful. This was not like a media interview, even though it was a media interview
Sure.
on a talk
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
It was not like a reporter interviewing him. People are complaining about,
Hard-hitting.
it was softball questions. I mean, this is not 60 Minutes. This is late night. And it was, let's get to know the Canadian Prime Minister. Let's get to know a little bit about Canada. Hey, we heard you're having some trouble with your popularity up there. All very friendly and calm and jokey as the format calls for.
Mhm.
So it was not like an accountability interview that he might have received by a Canadian journalist or even an American journalist. It's a different animal. And I actually think it was a little bit risky, because if he had done very poorly, there would have been a lot of brouhaha over it. If he did really well, I don't think it would make a difference. I think the people who hate him very deeply, and they are not going to let something like that change their minds, even if he knocked it out of the park, which he didn't really. I thought he was good. I thought he was pleasant. He came across as a real human being. He seemed to have a bit of humility. I felt like it was one of the more real times I've heard from him, and I appreciated that. But I don't think it's going to make one iota of political difference in Canada. What I said in that column is that I was just trying to imagine an American viewer watching that and thinking about what they've been dealing with. Kamala's different. And for that, I will do this.
Kamala. Oh, I like that. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, Marsha has put on a ball cap that is the comma sign, little comma punctuation, LA, Kamala. I like it.
Yes. Purchased in LA. It looks like an LA Dodgers cap, but I'm going to take it off because it makes me hot. Not
like
in the good way.
HAWTT. I mean, it made you cute.
Like I'm a 50-something woman hot. So, yeah, I mean, you imagine the American viewer and what they have been dealing with their leaders, Kamala aside, although I know a lot of people don't like her. But you think about the craziness that has been coming out of Donald Trump's mouth, for instance, and looking at this kind of normal guy in a suit talking about, some people don't like me. It's a hard time in Canada right now. People are having a hard time. Just sounding down to earth and real. That would have sparked some voter envy, I would think, if I was an American voter. And the audience was eating it up. I don't know if it was all like his delegation from Canada, but did you hear how they were screaming for him down there?
I mean, they're goaded. Like, they're not goaded. They're encouraged rather to react loudly and big and all that kind of stuff, and that goes with it. But at the same time, I mean, they're told to do that for every single guest, and they don't all the time as well.
Right.
Yeah, and the comment about, you guys should get universal health care down here got a huge response. And I'm not sure if someone was holding up the applause sign at that moment. I doubt it, but they just really the audience seemed very much on his side.
Do you think there's a little bit of selection bias there, just in that Colbert's audience is going to trend a little bit more progressive?
Yeah, of course. It's not like he's going on Fox News.
But like, I wonder though, like, it's so interesting to me that in progressive circles, Trudeau in the States is somebody who's kind of looked up to as being this sort of conciliatory figure. And I don't think they quite realize how extremely divisive he can be up here. So how do you think that has not trickled down to the States? What do you think has stopped that from happening?
Because they don't pay attention to us. I got the exact same impression when I was watching it. I thought, oh my gosh, this is like as if it was 2016. They don't realize that a lot of Canadians hate him now.
It's still sunny ways down there.
Exactly. It felt like sunny ways. And the just that whole kind of love fest, everything like a little bit gauzy around this happy conversation felt very much like that tweet said, not quite 10 years ago, but let's say 8 years ago, when Trudeau had come in after all those years of Harper, and it felt like a good time here, while in the US they were getting Trump, about to get Trump. And so I feel like everything stood still, and that's how it felt in that room during that conversation. That's exactly right, Steve.
What? Don't tell Steve he's exactly right.
No.
That's too
Yay!
much.
Is that going to be the clip?
Oh, I really want it to be. Just pump my tires for a whole
C,
week,
who
man.
does the editing, don't make that the clip.
You're not
See, I have money. No, I don't.
What's interesting, though, is that, of course, that the Late Show with Colbert is the number one late night talk show with 2.5, 2.6 million viewers on average per episode, above Jimmy Kimmel, which is above Jimmy Fallon. Saying that there's no comparable, like it wasn't like going on Fox. Absolutely correct. But there doesn't seem to be that kind of venue. And Steve mentioning that, the late night talk shows Colbert specifically is kind of left leaning, but there doesn't seem to be any. I mean, I wouldn't say Jimmy Kimmel's not kind of left leaning, and Jimmy Fallon's not kind of left leaning at the same time as well, compared to Fox. I just find it interesting. I somewhat disagree. I think it will make a difference to some of the fence sitters who are going to be like, I can't stand him. And they look at Poilievre and go, I don't really want Poilievre. I guess this guy, people think he's okay elsewhere. Maybe I'm too close to the canvas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're too close to the canvas. I don't think it'll make an iota of difference. I'm being really honest. I think people would, not that I wouldn't be, I think that anyone who's on the fence and wondering Poilievre, Trudeau, I don't think that appearance is going to make a difference. I think, if anything, people might be wondering, what's he doing down there? My lettuce is so expensive. Doesn't he know how much it costs to buy my Frosted Flakes at Loblaws? That's just a hypothetical example, of course.
Of course. Who buys lettuce at Loblaws?
Right? No.
Or Frosted Flakes. Probably $12 now, actually. But I think people might take that as a not good use of his time. It would confirm how unserious he is. I'm not sure it will make a difference. And yeah, all those guys, all those late night talk show Hollywood celebrity guys are left leaning, I would suggest. That Fox has some late night talk show that someone made me watch once. I don't remember what it was called. And that might be
it's Greg Grunberg, isn't it? There's no jokes.
Oh, yes.
There's no jokes.
No, but it was like an opening monologue that was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. It's a Fox News segment with the tone and cadence of a late night show, but no jokes. It's amazing.
It's really amazing. Everyone should watch it once just to see what's going on over there.
It's like performance art. I do have one question. I'm curious if you think that like I'm just looking at the view numbers on Colbert clips and comparing what an ordinary guest would get viewed versus Trudeau. And so like a typical guest is hanging out in the 10 to 50,000 view range for a clip. RuPaul, who I would argue is a fairly significant guest, got like 70,000. Trudeau's hanging out in the 600, 700,000 range on those clips. So that's like
huge.
Feels impactful.
Wow, that is shocking.
Yeah, no,
right?
I think it is.
Steve, bring in the data.
Oh, that's what he's here for.
Oh, God, stop pumping his tires.
It's not his personality and it's not his looks. So it's data, it's facts and numbers. But I still disagree. I feel it will be impactful for people because I think that idea of like the the thinking of, why is he doing that? Why is he spending time there instead? I'm not sure everybody necessarily connects those dots directly. They do more so with him for sure. But you look at Poilievre's campaign, and he's so good at marketing, but there's no accountability really in anything he's doing. Not that he has to be accountable because he's not in government as such, but that even when they're doing the no confidence votes and talking to Andrew Scheer, and Andrew Scheer saying, well, listen, we'll have a platform sometime soon. It'll be ready.
What we believe is a secret.
Yeah.
We have a concept of a platform.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Concept of a concept of a
So my point being, and we've kind of touched on this before on the show, is that I feel like people only see about that much, and there's a whole iceberg of other stuff underneath the water that maybe people who are a bit more news junkies would be more interested, a bit more focused on. But the majority of people are just going to see, he came across as cool, I guess. Maybe he is okay. I don't know. I'm not even sure people think that hard about it because they can't, because they're treading water all the time.
But you had the alts wrong. People already hitting the, why is he wasting his time even before, it aired? And why is he in New York? Like trying to pretend like he's just flitting around doing whatever he wants. At least in the interview with Colbert that he did mention that he was there for a very specific reason, right? And he also spoke to who he talked to and what he's done since he's been in New York. So if someone's listening to the whole thing, and it's not going to be the people that hate him because they're not going to care. But for the people that maybe don't know what a prime minister does on the daily, like, I do travel and I do have to do this and I do engage with, maybe that'll be helpful. Right? I mean...
Yeah, he wasn't in New York looking at art at MoMA or shopping in Soho.
Exactly,
he was
right?
at the UN General Assembly, and he met with Malala that day.
Exactly.
And he was concerned about Haiti, etc. He did talk about that. I mean, I think the most... And that's a really good point. But to me, the thing that really jumped out at me was how human he seemed. Brittlestar. Do I call you Brittle? What do I call you? What's your first name? Brit?
Mr.
Right.
Brittlestar. No, you can call me anything you want. Stuart, Brittlestar, whatever grabs your attention.
So, Mr. Brit, what was, now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, you were talking about Poilievre's marketing and how impactful it is. I find it nauseating.
Oh, so do I.
Okay, good. That's good. So now I'll call you Stuart.
That's how you get the upgrade.
I don't find it, I mean, I hope it's not impactful because it's not saying anything. Whereas to me, I saw this human being, this man come on this show and talk about stuff like an actual human being, not with 3-word slogans. And that was really, I thought that was successful.
Well, that's
go ahead, sir.
No, I was just going to say, like, with that in mind, then, I mean, when the difference between going on Colbert and speaking at the United Nations, is there anything that he could have done at the United Nations General Assembly that would have been remotely the same impact? Like, there's nothing that's the same. It wouldn't have mattered what he said at the United Nations, unless he said we're going to war with America. I mean, nothing would have been as impactful, I don't think.
Isn't that interesting? Because when I was watching, again, I was trying to get into this head. What is it like to be, you're the Prime Minister of Canada. You've met everyone. You've done everything. You were just at the UN General Assembly. And now you're about to go on Colbert. There was a shot of him kind of coming out of the green room in the hallway, waiting to be called in. And I thought, is he nervous? Does the prime minister get nervous because of this kind of thing? Because it's a little out of his wheelhouse, or maybe it just means nothing. I'm so sorry about my cat meowing right now.
For those listening at home, it's Steve that's meowing. So
he's got a hot spot.
That's enough of that.
Do you think some level of this comes down to just, I think this sort of expectation that Canadians have of their politicians to live this like ascetic lifestyle, where as soon as you are an elected official, somehow the public seems to like expect your life to be devoid of joy. Like, how dare he do a 15-minute segment that was kind of fun, right? Like, like the travel bills and like everything, and it's pointed at everybody.
Yeah, and I think it seems unimportant. I think that's how people see it. They deem that as an unimportant part of his job when so many people are suffering, which they are, Canadians and others that the UN General Assembly was needing to address. But to me, it's part of it's part of the role to show the rest of the world what's out there. And also, he painted a positive picture of Canada when there are other politicians going onto US shows saying very negative things about Canada and not selling it as a happy place. I'm not sure it is a happy place, but I don't think it's the worst place. I feel very lucky to live here personally. I could
Same.
also read some of the reader mail I received.
Oh,
People
God.
Oh,
Please
yes.
do.
agreed that with my take that Mr. Trudeau did well. I don't know if I can say this on this show.
Get the cat
But
to
we
say it.
want you to.
The subject line was your, like you are, and the R word
Okay. Yeah.
meaning to me.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Justin Trudeau. He's pathetic, corrupt, and then I don't know if I can say this either. But they made an allegation about his sexual preferences.
Right.
Oh my God.
And then F you for propping him up. Was one email I received.
Give me their email, Marsha. Give me their email.
I'm just always fascinated that, like, if you, like, and this happens to, I think, all of us, like, if you give a take that's, like, something even along the lines of, like, that thing Justin Trudeau did, that was okay. Like, how dare you? It's
exactly.
Like, they fly into a
melodrama.
And I wasn't, fawning all over him. I thought he did okay. But what was really interesting to me was what that would look like to an American who's been dealing with Donald Trump for the last decade, and how difficult that must be on your psyche. And then I've got this other one. But anyway, there are way too many F words. They call me a Nazi.
Oh,
they
dear.
suggest Xi Jinping is my master. Canada.
Did they spell Xi Jinping right?
It's phonetic.
The bots
Did
know
they?
How, the bots know how to
Yeah.
spell.
That's a cow. That's a copy and paste.
Yeah, actually, this one is all. Oh no, the word "our" is misspelled.
Oh.
Instead of our O-U-R, they spelt it O-R-I. But they got the F word right every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
They probably
7 times.
They have a hotkey for that, probably. It's like
Right.
Option Command F or something. Yeah.
But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is not woe is me for getting these mean emails, but people hate him. You cannot say anything that is remotely not negative about Justin Trudeau without getting that kind of response.
But I would
Who cares,
argue,
though?
who cares? Exactly. That's kind of it. Who cares? Because I feel like that's a little bit of a little part of how much we've allowed people to react to things like that in the past 8 years, where people are allowed to spit vitriol and be super aggressive. And I think if someone professes how much they think Poilievre's amazing, there is certainly not the same number of people saying you're an idiot. There's people not saying that you are the R word. Like that just doesn't really, I mean, I'm sure it happens in some cases, but not nearly to the same scale or level whatsoever, which makes me think there's very much like like I'm not sure it's representative of how much people actually hate Trudeau meeting in the Canada. They're just, those people who are putting that stuff out are very, very loud is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, a quick scroll of Colbert's comment section suggests that the angry people are indeed very loud.
Well, just to sort of sidestep here, there's a list here. Producer Owen has sent some questions, and I'm not allowed to read this question. And I think that it seems the kind of question that Steve would read. So, Steve, feel free. It's the Ben Mulroney question.
Oh, yeah. No, it's Ben Mulroney, the fade router to Justin's Paul. So in my background, there's actually a fade router figurine that my lovely wife gave to me.
Oh, that's
so,
nice.
Yeah. Stuart, don't read this, or do. I'm not a cop, but it's funny enough to me that I'm not going to delete it. Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Don't worry about it.
Explain who are the characters?
Have you watched Dune?
Oh, I saw the one with Sting when, like, 500 years ago.
Ben Mulroney is Sting.
Okay.
And Justin Trudeau is the guy from Twin Peaks.
Kyle MacLachlan. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who was later on Sex and the City.
So it all related to the fact that
first husband.
Ben was not very happy, or at least was complaining about Trudeau. Correct?
He's like the inverse image of Justin Trudeau. It's like he came out of the teleporter with a goatee one day.
He can stay cool in hot situations. I did pass him, I think I've said before, pass him on the street about 15, 20 years ago, and he was still working for Much Music or something like that. And he was in a full, lovely, amazing suit, standing in 34-degree heat, not a bead of sweat in the guy, just holding together. And I've met him before. He's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a talent, the no sweat in a suit.
It is. It's a skill. It's absolute skill.
Do you think it's because he was using a handkerchief?
No, that's my thing, Steve. Back off. But he was not happy that Trudeau was going on Colbert because just give him everything we're dealing with. And, he
was snarky. He was snarky in his little video in his AM radio stint.
So,
sorry.
Fun fact. I used to be a talk show host on that same radio station.
Oh.
Also 500 years ago.
Wow.
And I know that part of the deal is you need to rile people up and put on, this persona of injustice and let's talk about it. Let's argue. But I thought it was ridiculous. Sorry.
No, I agree.
Is this what he should be doing? Who cares? Yes, let him do it. It's great. Go ahead.
Has anything ever felt more like sour grapes than Ben Mulroney complaining about Justin Trudeau?
It did come across a little sour grapes.
How dare he be more popular than me?
It's not.
The optics were not great.
No.
The parallel lives.
And of all of the people in the universe, probably the person least in the position to make that statement is Ben Mulroney.
Yeah. I'm gonna direct this next question for Lisa to answer first, then we can all have a jab at it, because I feel it'll be most entertaining coming from Lisa. Imagine that Pierre Poilievre got a spot on Colbert next week. How do you think this would go? What kind of effect do you think it would have on the Conservatives' so far successful campaign? Two interesting things. First of all, funny, how do you think it would go? And then secondly, what kind of impact would that have on them?
I mean, okay. Pierre is not exactly charismatic outside of his pre-planned speeches, right? So, I mean, I'm sure they get, an idea of what's going to be asked of them. I think the hosts, regardless of where he's going on Late Night to the Left, would have a field day with him. And I think he would just be like, he'd be like a robot, like can't compute, and smoke would start coming out of his ears because he would just repeat the same thing. I'm going to bring it home. We're going to axe the tax. And they're going to be like, what the fuck does that mean? Right? Because Americans don't care about that.
I've been watching Question Period, and every question starts with, we're going to axe the tax, cut the costs, cut the crime,
build the homes,
and build the homes. Like just every single one. And so I just imagine that every time. Just verb the noun.
They'll do what we do. They'll do a side-by-side of him and the T-Man and like doing those same kinds of like ridiculous commentaries. I think it would be fun, but for the same reason that the people who hate Justin are slamming on him going on Colbert, the same people that hate Justin are going to be like, Pierre did so well in representing real Canadians. Like, I mean, we're not going to win that, right? But
the Trudeau Twitter people are going to go wild.
We'd have a good time with it. But
I think it would be a cringe fest.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I would require some kind of dental operation to deal with my mouth after how much cringing I would be doing.
It would be fun. It would be fun to watch.
I did want to say as an aside that Poilievre with his slogans, his verb the noun slogans, it was last week 5 days ago posting, scan the sea cans, spot the stolen car,
Oh, God.
give it back to the owner who will bring it home. And I thought, I was going to retweet it with jump the shark.
Missed opportunity, man.
I know. And it's like, I'm not up for that kind of fighting on Twitter. But I read it and I thought, the poor guys ran out of gas. You know what I mean?
You
Never
post
tweet.
that tweet and then you just hit mute replies and walk away like a cool guy from an explosion. It's like, I'm going to let it play out.
Right? Yeah.
So, very exciting. You're going to get a preview right now. I'm sure you're all on the edges of your seats of my next column is all about those slogans. And so for the last few days, I've been going through his feeds, Poilievre's, and listening to his speeches.
Oh,
and
no.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
What
I
an
know.
exercise in pain that
Do you
must
need
Is
a
that why you were-
hug?
Is that why you were crying when you came on?
That's why my cat is next to me for this interview. She's
The
my
therapy
emotional
cat,
support
yeah.
animal.
Goodness.
So anyway, yes, I saw that comment about the stolen cars. I have listened to about 600, 700 renditions of Axe the Tax, Spike the Hike, Cut the Crime,
Yeah.
and Bring It Home,
It's
Yeah.
agonizing.
whatever that means.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them hit, some of them work. Like Axe Attacks, it's people hang on to that. It's like Think Mink. It's that whole idea. It's something simple that people can hang on to. But
So-
more. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was thinking I have an easy solution to Trudeau going on Colbert. We just need to bring back open mic with Mike Bullard. Revive Canadian late night.
There's a number of issues.
Yeah. Do you know about
A number
No.
of
Mike
issues with that.
Bullard?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, did he turn out to be no bueno?
Not super bueno, that's for
super
sure.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll bring back open mic without Mike Bullard.
Alan
and,
Thicke, Thick of the Night.
Google it, Steve. Google it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Thick
I
of the
did
Night.
not-
No.
Alan Thicke had a late night show.
Thick of the Night. Yeah, it was
I did
great.
not know about Thick of the Night.
Yeah.
Like late 80s, early. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Never mind about Mike Bullard then.
I don't. I don't
Today
know.
I learned.
That's
Don't
good.
think
That's what
Alan
we're here
Thicke's
for.
available. Yeah.
That's why we're here, is to learn from each
I mean,
other.
I really should have kept up to date on my 90s Canadian.
I was
Canadian
I
ladies.
didn't want to call you on it, but
Nasty.
it's exactly it. That's exactly it. What we say here is, Marsha, is shut up, Steve.
Oh, I can't say that.
No, well, it's been about 40 minutes, so
Your family now.
we tease. We love Steve. Steve's awesome.
He loves it.
One of the
Does he?
one of the worst people on social media in our region. Shannon was telling me referred to one of your recent videos, Steve, as a continuous fart, and I thought, how weird.
Oh my gosh.
But that's
I mean,
it's the kind of people you want. You're like, yes, I want that guy to not like me. That's fun.
We're going to need to know who that is.
Can
when
I
we
just
stop
say,
taping.
for the listeners who are not watching, that sound that Steve just made was
Yeah.
not a fart.
Yeah. Right?
Oh,
He wasn't
no,
playing
it-
his video.
It was much worse.
I mean, I'm looking right at the fart button on my soundboard right now.
No.
And you
don't
could
do
just
it,
hit
man.
that button.
Don't do it, man.
So I just want to do a quick sidetrack here because now we have someone, a bona fide media person, a bona fide journalist in the show today.
Like a real one.
Like a real one.
A real one.
Not just guessing at stuff like we do.
Not people who talk into their phones.
Exactly. Who has some accountability, at least we think a little bit anyway. You do. I know you do.
As like
Marsha.
editors and stuff.
Exactly. There's accountability. Exactly. You might not be able to say anything about this, Marsha, but I just want to bring it up as we're talking about the effect of media on the political parties and whether that be just news coverage or House of Commons question period or Colbert Report or the Deanie Petty show, anything like that. Doesn't matter what it is.
Deanie Petty show?
Yeah, I was trying to bring up a reference. I didn't want to bring up Mike Bullard again.
That is an incredibly deep cut, man.
Thank you. You're
How
very-
about, wait, even deeper, You're Beautiful with Mickey Moore.
Oh my God.
Who remembers that?
Not
No.
me.
Not me.
Nope.
Come on. Was it a
Maybe that wasn't what it was called.
is it a BC
It
thing?
might have been the Mickey Moore show. No, it was on City TV. I
Oh,
think,
wow.
in Toronto. And the song was the Carole King song.
Okay,
Oh.
I have the answer. Give Seamus O'Regan a new show. Call it Canada PM.
Done.
He can do it from Ottawa and take over the position of Nightmare.
Canada fixed.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Excellent.
I like it. But I was going to say, talking about CTV News and piecing together that sentence by Polyev, and then, which is like egregious. It's like, come on, guys. There's so many stuff. There's so much actual stuff we can go after. We don't need to make stuff up.
Yeah.
Which was really annoying. And I hate that kind of thing because it plays right into the hands of people like Andrew Scheer, who tweeted out CTV News caught lying for Trudeau. Which I find funny, especially with CTV, because it was like, if it's not one, it's the other. It's like, oh, there's super right-wing conservative bias. No, there's super left-wing. And it's like, guys, they're just trying to crank out content. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's our thoughts on that in general? What's our takes on the CTV thing, and what's our takes on the response, of course, inevitable response from the CPC?
So if I can weigh in for a bit, to be honest, I haven't read very deeply into this. I've seen what the accusation was. I saw the apology. If you are editing together words from different sentences to play a soundbite, everyone should know that is not okay. Any person who goes anywhere near journalism should know that's not okay. I don't know how it happened or what exactly happened, but I can tell you that this is not common practice. It would never happen. I mean, I can't even believe that this is a possibility. It would never cross my mind. But here's the other thing. Again, knowing nothing about the situation, I suspect that it wasn't, whatever happened wasn't some like great anti-Polyev conspiracy. It may have been some incompetence or naivete. There is not like, I think the people who don't work in media think that we're all like buzzing around with these instructions about who we're supposed to promote and who we're supposed to be tough on. It doesn't work that way. We're just looking to tell the truth and giving you as much information as we can and doing it fairly in a balanced way. That is what we do. I have no idea how that happened. And I don't even know how it makes anyone look better or worse. It makes CTV look not very good.
Not great.
So my pet theory, it's not very conspiratorial, is that lots of the more modern editing software have a lot of editing or automation things built into their suites. And a lot of it is just like text-based editing and stuff. And so I think it's pretty realistically possible that it just was genuinely just somebody rushing their work or doing poor work and it slipped by. That doesn't excuse it. It was not okay. Not even by any stretch. Is it likely being overblown by the Conservatives? Yeah, because they've gotten their apology. CTV issued a retraction. They owned it fully. The Conservatives just want a pound of flesh.
And the way Polyev is going after them, oh yay, their stock price is down. Isn't that great? Sorry, this is a Canadian company. There are actual Canadians, human beings who work for that company or might own stock in that company. Let's not celebrate this company,
Let's take a victory lap. Take a victory lap on a Canadian failure, everybody.
So if we're talking about accountability, though, like it's going to cringe. So there was a news report that was put out by CTV involving my favorite and yours, Michelle Ferrari. And so they were speaking to, people had gone to some Ferrari fest.
Could you hold just for a second, Lisa? Yeah. This is the crime central where Marsha is right now.
Sorry, I'm in East Vancouver.
Oh.
That's the clip right there.
There you go. That's the clip.
So sorry, if you can start again, just because I want to make sure that everyone can hear.
Everybody can hear it. So when we're talking about accountability, right, there was a CTV News report that went out and it was, Ms. Ferrari, my favorite, was pushing it as, again, concerned citizens talking to her about, the concerns with the Liberals and this and that and the other thing. And she posted it on her Twitter. But if you actually went to look at the CTV news report, she edited out the parts where people were being interviewed, you know, bringing up questions about things like the dental plan and will the CPC take care of the dental plan and all those kinds of things. So she edited a CTV news report that they are now criticizing the CTV. Like, there should be accountability on all ends. If we're going to go after the media for oopses, we need to go after politicians for intentional misleading and misrepresentation. I just like to bring up Michelle Ferreri every chance I get.
Thanks for that.
That's super interesting, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Lisa.
Lisa's been quiet this episode.
Wait, hold on. I get shut up, Steve, and she gets, that's super interesting. Thank you for sharing, Lisa.
See, but what I hear when she says that is neat.
Little gentle pat on the top of the head. Very
Good
cool.
for
We're going to
you.
put that up on the fridge.
Like a record? I never said shut up, Steve.
Very true.
Till now, but we can isolate that and just play it back.
Can we AI that in?
Yeah, exactly.
Have any of you worked at CTV? Can you make that happen?
I used to be on a panel there. I'll see what I can do. But I mean, it's horrendous because it plays into the idea. Of course, the Conservative Party now is saying, advising their MPs not to talk with CTV and avoid CBC, and it plays right into that American hysteria, this anti-media, which is, I mean, it seems like an evidently huge red flag when a political party says, don't believe the media. You can't believe anything they say. If they say something bad about us, it's probably a lie. Because remember that time they lied? That was pretty horrible, wasn't it? And you can't have the nuance of saying, yes, it was terrible when they made that up or made that mistake or whatever. They did apologize for it. I wouldn't expect they're doing it every day. But it just plays right into it. It just plays it into that whole idea. And, you know, as Colbert had mentioned to Trudeau, saying how some people had referred to Poilievre as Canada's Trump. And very different people, by the way, obviously. But at the same time, same kind of tactics are being used of being don't trust the media, which is just like, I mean, I can't understand why anyone would have the party they support and have them say that and go, yeah, I don't know about that, guys. It seems a little far-fetched.
It's so awful. And you're right. It does play right into that whole narrative, which is baloney. And the absolute hostility. You know, I read those emails, but those were cranks, but there is a hostile environment around media right now. And I hear it in some really unfortunate ways. And there is a desire to find something and go, gotcha. You're the MSN, mainstream media. You're liars. You make it up, fake news, all of that. And here is an example that people will point to for a long time, unfortunately.
It's one of that set of like 5 examples that people in your comments sections bear in mind forever.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear the same like 5 things. And you're like, oh, we all know. Everybody knows. We've always known.
Yeah.
Is this the same Marsha Lederman who said this in 2013?
See,
I've never
I'd like
that.
to have a word about your yearbook quote.
Right. there's zero room for error, right? And it speaks to, like, you know, if Trudeau had gone on Colbert and had screwed it all up, then they would have said, aha, we told you so. The media has no room for error, like the real media, not the other one, has no room for error. People, you can't make a mistake. Trudeau, the feds, the Liberals, they can't make a mistake, right? You've got the CPC going around saying just ridiculousness, nobody challenging or questioning them on it, and they're just pointing the fingers. Like, there's no margin for error. And when something does happen, it's like, oh, now we got to fight this for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So the example.
And they're
oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
you
just
go
going to
ahead.
say they're not allowing us to
No.
question them.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just like, the example I think of is like, playing a game of like pickup basketball with that one person who's constantly arguing about what fouls are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you are killing everything. Like nobody can do anything because all you do is complain about the rules, and every like hair that's an inch out of line, you know, they just won't accept anything. But if things fall their way, then they're fine, obviously.
Yeah.
Funny, that wasn't the metaphor that came to me, the basketball playing, but I hear you. It's
Short
Neat.
white dudes like me are known
Neat.
for our basketball prowess.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one wants to make a mistake. The worst thing, trust me, when you're a journalist, is to open your email and see error in
Yeah.
Marsha
Yeah.
Lederman's story or
Yeah.
typo in your story about Stephen Colbert. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And we make them. We're fallible. We're
Sure.
human. But this, I don't know what, again, Steve's theory seems, I'm going to go with that.
Oh,
Seems
God.
watertight, Steve.
Oh, my God.
But no, I don't know what happened there, but I don't think it was malice
Yeah.
as much as it might have been an error. And there is a huge difference.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously there needs to be a healthy distrust of media because we don't know exactly what angles are being portrayed. We don't know what all kind of stuff. But in general, you can't just blanket cover it and say, don't trust the media. If they say something bad about me, they're probably lying. Or they are lying, which is just nonsense. But then I want to ask a question here as we move on, getting close to the end of the show here. That do we think, you know, hypothetically, if Poilievre went on, what's that Fox News show you mentioned, Greg
Grunberg,
whatever his name is, if he went on his
Greg
show,
Grumpeldump,
yeah, or a Fox News show similar, would that appeal to Canadian Conservatives, or would it be a bridge too far? Would that be like,
They would love it.
you think so?
Western Canada's got its
God.
Fox News crowd, man. I don't know about out east, but in Western Canada, Fox News is in a lot of cable packages.
They would be
Right.
like, we made it. We made it to Fox. They would love it.
So like Tucker Carlson does events out west, man. So the idea that if Poilievre did like Tucker Carlson,
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
people would
God,
be
yeah.
psyched. People
Yeah.
of a very specific persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mhm.
that group would be psyched.
Yes, people who might already be his base.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's not going to do a lot of persuading going on Carlson.
The middles are the variable here, I think.
Okay, we're going to finish off by doing a quick little round of just questions here you can answer. And of course, Marsha, please get involved in this. If you remember back in the day, Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall's talk show and played the saxophone. And I would like you guys to tell me, what song would Trudeau perform on Late Night?
Oh, that one's so easy.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Think about the kind of man he is. Think for just a single moment and then know he would get out an acoustic guitar and play Wonderwall.
Oh, no. See, I don't think so.
I was trying to think
No.
of something like,
Anyways, here's Wonderwall.
where he just wanted an excuse to play
Take us
Wonderwall.
out, Steve. Take us out on Wonderwall.
I don't know.
I think he would play something Canadian.
There'd
Go
be
on.
some Nickelback. There'd be some Nickelback happening.
You think so?
He'd play the hip if we're being realistic. But
Yeah, the hip.
Well,
He'd play
okay.
the hip.
if we want to make fun of him, we're
repeat.
saying Wonderwall.
Yeah, I was going to say Europe's Final Countdown. I think that'd have been
Oh.
that could-
On a kazoo.
Because I think it would be dramatic. That's why I think the hip is
Yeah.
too mellow for him right now.
Now let's just take that a step further. What song would Pierre Poilievre play on Late Night Talk Show?
Pierre Poilievre doesn't know songs. He only listens to spoken word albums.
Wait, are there any songs that have just three
Three words.
lyrics? Because that would be the song.
Iggy Pop's Lust for Life is close, but not
Oh,
That's,
really.
God,
close.
no,
That's
that's-
kind of too cool for him, though.
Yeah,
That's
it's way
nuts.
too cool for him.
We should have prepped this before.
Louis, maybe just Louis. It's not three words, but
Please,
you know,
please me.
Please.
Love me do, but that's what he would be singing. Love me do.
Oh, yeah.
Axe the text. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I can see it.
I guess we could do some of the versions
But
of that.
I mean,
And
even
then
those couple of
Spike
notes would get
the
us. We're going to get dinged by the Beatles immediately.
Okay, so last question that is, which instrument would Trudeau play? If Clinton played saxophone, what instrument's Trudeau going to play?
Oh, he's a guitar guy.
He's an
gotta be.
acoustic guitar guy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, I disagree on this one. I disagree on this one because he wants to be cool so bad he plays bass.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
I just
Just
remember
waiting
him
for my time to come in.
in the canoe, right? I was just thinking
Yeah.
he would be playing the
Oh,
acoustic
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
canoe. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
no,
the guy.
he's the guy who harmonizes Happy Birthday. He wants to play
Yeah.
bass.
What do you
And then, of course,
That's what
Poiliev.
bass players do.
Yeah, because they like to just harmonize.
Oh,
Poiliev, what instrument is he playing?
I'll just go back. Sting was a bass player, or it still is, I
Mm.
suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
What
Polyev
instrument is
playing?
Poiliev
What
playing?
Poiliev-
Slide whistle?
Oh,
It's got to be slide whistled.
I think the recorder.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
recorder.
Recorder?
The recorder. He can play
Poiliev.
hot cross buns
Yeah.
or Three Blind Mice. He's got it all, man.
I don't think
Least-
he has rhythm. Like, honestly, like, I think spoons might even be too much for him. I don't think he's a rhythm guy.
I think he would just play any one of those weird copyright-free instrumental things that he has
Mhm.
behind his YouTube videos.
Right.
The ones that play in the drugstore where
Yeah.
you can press
Yeah.
a button
Yeah.
and buy the CD.
Yeah, the stuff that
Nice.
sounds like you're on hold.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't.
That sounds good on a recorder, actually.
It would sound good in a recorder. I was somewhere, I was at a restaurant somewhere recently, and they were playing a Muzak version of Billie Eilish's Lunch, which is
Oh.
which, for those
That
of you who don't know,
allowable?
is a rather lusty
Rather,
lesbian song.
God,
And it was
amazing.
good. I mean, I like both
at
versions.
lunchtime.
Yes, yeah. And I was singing along in my head going, no, I don't think that's... Anyway, yeah.
Is this just like your version of listening to the Kids Bop versions of very explicit
Basically,
songs?
yeah, exactly. It's not when you're the man. That's what's happening. You just go to places and they're playing Muzak versions of Billie Eilish tunes.
I mean,
Such a
girls gotta
recent
eat.
song.
Oh, listen, they're all over it. That whole industry is all over
The
it.
Muzak.
Oh,
they're
Muzak is-
picking up on it.
Muzak
Oh,
is a nimble industry.
That's right. It's called Big Muzak.
It's so pervasive, you don't even hear it till you
Yeah.
hear it, right?
We have to be careful what we're saying because Big Muzak might be listening as
Oh.
well. We got to be really
Is
careful. with that.
Muzak a genre or a brand?
I think it's that brand, actually, to be honest.
Is it a brand?
I think it's a
I think
brand.
I think it's a brand that has become a genre.
Yeah, like Kleenex. Exactly.
Until they pulled out of Canada.
Yeah. And now it's
Boo.
Scotty's or
Thanks,
something.
Justin.
All right. So for those of you who are listening to the audio version of the podcast, thank you so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Of course, you can find us at podcastisbroken.ca, where you can subscribe with your email address. You'll get notification every time there's a new episode. You can also find us on your favorite podcasting platform. For those of you who are paid subscribers, get ready for the improvised theme song closing us out. But to everyone else, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves, folks.
Bye.
The audio version of Podcast is Broken was produced, engineered, and edited by Owen Reynolds. The video version of the podcast was edited by Lisa Cumming. You can find past episodes and more at podcastisbroken.ca or your favorite podcast platform.